All right. Hello and welcome to Hello Governor the podcast. As always, I am Abdullah, and with me today is Chester Rushing. Is that how you pronounce your last name? Rushing?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Abdullah.
Okay, yeah. I don't usually start my interviews complaining about technology, but we just spent like the last couple of minutes trying to set this up, and it's kind of like, yeah, technology, man.
Yeah, it's always something, seriously. At least the cyborgs haven't started attacking us yet, which is great.
Got it.
I walk outside and there's just like a giant earthworm with cyborg arms. I don't know. You never know. You never know what the future can hold. It's
God, it reminds me of the old days when I used to record on Skype and I had to like walk people through that. And it's like, how do you use Skype? I've never used Skype before. And it's just like, uh,
yeah, this was a fun time though. I mean, I'm super grateful to be here. And even though, we had some technical difficulties at the start, I'm glad we can keep it going. Yeah, and rushing is definitely how you pronounce it, though I'm not really in a rush.
and you might know him from Stranger Things, first two seasons, and Mighty Monster Wheelies, the Loud House No Time to Spy movie. I think that's it. I'm
Yeah.
terrible when it comes to like recapping people's like accomplishments. I'm like, but where do I know them from? Where is this like niche thing that I know them from?
Nice. Well, yeah, I think those are some of my most well-known credits for sure. Yeah, the Loud House movie No Time to Spy. I play Myrtle's impersonator. I'm also currently recording as the voice of Superman for DC's High Volume series, which is really cool. It's a real big treat. And yeah, the Mighty Monster Wheelies, I play Rap Stretcher, the go get 'em ambulance mummy who is just so full of heart, and kids love the show, which is really great.
Oh wait, I just remembered. Cookie Run Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Cookie Run Kingdom. I play Mercurial Knight by the light of the silver tree. May you have a good day. Yeah, I really loved being in Cookie Run Kingdom. That was such a fun one. Thanks for I didn't know you were a Cookie Run fan. That's cool.
We're going back to the roots, man. Because I used to like, because I used to play a lot of Cookie Run Kingdom back during the pandemic years, and
Sure.
I interviewed a bunch of people who worked on Cookie Run Kingdom, and I just like I. But as life goes on, you lose interest,
Sure.
and it's not like I don't still like the game, but it's a gotcha game, and those are an investment, and it's just like one of those things where it's like I don't have the time for this anymore, and I'm just
Oh,
getting
sure.
sucked into this. And but yeah, I mean,
Especially
like,
when there's so many good games coming out like all the time. So I'm thankful for the time you spent with it at least. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I love gaming. It's one of my biggest hobbies. I play tabletop games and I play digital media games as well. Just because I'm an introverted person. I really I like staying home and like playing games and being with my cats because like, there's a lot of travel in it, like going to Comic Cons, going to all these things, which after lockdown, I really didn't do a lot of because I kind of got, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't know, not like scared to go outside, but kind of like, I don't know. I've been working a lot from home in my studio, doing a lot of animation. So whenever I go out to like Dallas or I go out all the way downtown to record for one of my new shows, it's always a treat. But like halfway during the day, I'm like, I think I'm done now. I think I want to go back home because the traffic's a lot and all that stuff. But games really got me through that. I think during lockdown, that's when I first found Dungeons and Dragons, and I played with my friends overseas in Scotland during that time because there wasn't really a lot that we could do, and my friends all lived in different time zones, so they were like, "Try this cool tabletop game," and now I play quite consistently, and I run games for people, and I think that's really fun. A lot more celebrity friends that I didn't think would play actually are players of D&D, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, man, it's interesting looking back at that period where everyone was stuck at home and we were slowly going insane and we all just like I don't know, man. It's weird to think about that period than thinking like, oh yeah, that was like 5 years ago. And then it's
It
like,
doesn't seem like it was that. I mean,
uh,
it's crazy to think it's like 5 years ago. I mean, yeah, I still get that feeling. And whenever I moved, I was in Los Angeles with my wife, Ava, and then lockdown happened. We moved to Texas, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, I'm out of a job. I really, you know, I don't know what I can do. And it was like within a month, I booked this job on Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus called Big Nate. And that ran for 3.5 years. I was hired for one day, but I bought my microphone and I bought all this stuff that I really wanted to be a part of it. And I was just doing like over 35, 40 voices for this show, which was really, really, really cool. But the crazy part is for 4 years when I lived in LA, I had nothing but no's for every audition I did in voice. So it just came right at the right time. And ever since then, I've been working consistently. Fright Crew we did at DreamWorks, and now the Mighty Monster Wheelies. And I'm working on some few fun things, some new games and some new shows.
oh man, I just thank you for mentioning Big Nate because I forgot about that show and I had interviewed like I interviewed tons of people who worked on that show as well. So it's like, man, small world.
Yeah, I play Zeph and the voiceover community, they're a bunch of really cool people and it's kind of close knit and small, which is nice. That we get to occasionally work behind the mic with each other. Yeah, Big Nate was a lifesaver and it's such a cool experience. I got to work with Mitch Watson, the director, who they helped make like Madagascar, the series, and Kung Fu Panda, the series. And I really love those shows. So learning from people like that, it's just a treat. It's a real honor to. I mean, I was working alongside some industry greats. I've gotten to meet like Rob Paulson from the Animaniacs. I've gotten to speak with just some childhood heroes of mine that I ended up working with, which is it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I'm glad that like voiceover has this longevity where like some, if you're lucky, you get to work, into your older years, which is like a really special thing. On camera is not as you never know how lucky you'll get, which is it's a crazy thing. So I'm glad animation exists. It's magic to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that, that it exists as well because like, like you said, you can work when you're in animation, you can work until you're like 60, 70, 80. Doesn't matter as long as you can like still do the voice and it doesn't sound like an old person doing it, then it's fine. I mean, like look at the
Unless
Simpsons
that's super
cast.
cool. Oh my gosh, yeah, like some of those people, they're like their older age makes them sound even cooler. Like it's just like the use and the wear. I don't know, like some singers that they've been singing for like years. It's like, man, that's cool. Like I don't know, it adds this beautiful edge to it. So there's benefits to that too, and it's something that you can get better over time with if you're lucky, which I really really appreciate.
No, no, I mean that's interesting that you say that because like whenever I listen to veterans of the industry talk about like looking back at their work and reprising a role and being like, "Oh, I had to do this differently when I reprised my role because I'm getting older." And I don't think
Yeah,
that, and what have you, and I just don't like listening to that. I'm just like, why can't we just like embrace getting older? Like why can't we just say, "Hey,
yeah.
I'm older now and it's going to be different how I what do you call it?
How you try to
Approach
do it. Yeah,
approach a character and it's like and that's fine, like I don't understand
yeah.
like
I think the fans will still love it. I
yeah
think the
it's
fans will
it's
still get it and
yeah
appreciate it.
it's just weird to me. It's like listening to people say like, oh, I'm getting older and it sounds different and I and what have you and I can't like reach reach the same highs I used to when I was younger. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but it's like, it's still pretty cool that you got that you came back to do this.
Yeah, for sure. That's all. It's like because the love is what matters. Like your love for creating a character, your love and for the heart of the show. Like that's what makes the show so good. I think. I think so. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because like again, I swear this is not a flex. I'm not flexing on people. Please, like every time I mention this, I'm not flexing. I'm just being genuine, but I'm, good friends with Corey Burton, and I remember talking to him about, playing the younger Count Dooku in like Tales of the Jedi, and
Oh yeah.
his one of his main notes was, is like, okay, how do I make him sound younger? And Dave Filoni just basically told him like, look, man, people's voices don't change. Just do Dooku. Like people's voices don't change that much. It's like, okay.
I love some of those series. It's definitely interesting. I mean, and yeah, whenever you're going into like stuff like Bob's Burgers or something, you know, the kids on the show don't sound like children. They sound like some of them just sound like how they sound in real life, which is like really kind of cool. Sometimes that works. So yeah, it's always an interesting thing when as an actor, like how am I actually did this for a long time. I was like, oh, I got like a kid's voice audition. I've got to sound as much of a kid like I can. And sometimes they want that, but sometimes they're like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, okay, I should have said two takes, I guess.
And
Ah,
it and
that's
it's
okay though.
and it's different because like when you're do voice when they want, like, it depends on the project. Like if it's something aimed at kids, then you can go cartoony. But if it's like something
Yeah.
that's aimed at adults, you're like, okay, I gotta be more grounded and
I like the show Arcane. Some of the acting in Arcane is just like, wow, you're just wowed because it's so subtle and so visceral and I haven't finished the entire series, so no spoilers. But I started watching it because I'm working with Jason Spisak on DC High Volume. He plays Batman and I play Superman. Um, and so I wanted to watch that show because he plays I think the character is called Silco in that. And I just really find to admire your friends' works that are, you're working with is always a nice thing to do.
yeah, man. I mean, Arcane is just like, I can sit here all day and talk about like how great that show is and how that changed, like, just changed the way I look at performances and
Mm.
writing and what have you, and just how to craft a story in general. I mean, like every once in a while, like something like that comes along, and you look at that and you're like, this is why I fucking love art. This is why I love the arts, you know?
Yeah, powerful stuff. Animation is a powerful medium. It's a powerful art form. Um, it just kind of, for me, whenever I see like something like that or like a Hayao Miyazaki film, like a Studio Ghibli film, um, I kind of, it's always just like this magical experience. I mean, something came out of somebody's mind and an actor breathed life into their paints mixed with sound. And it's just like, it became real for me when I see it. And then you go from that to like something like, and I love this movie, K-pop Demon Hunters. I like mixed with the music and the sound. And I'm like, wow, there's like, it's such a vast uh range of things you can do with voice and animation and music and light and sound and heart. I think I think it's always so incredible to see and to give people a voice in this day. I think it's always a beautiful thing.
And like, what made you want to get into acting?
Well, my father, whenever I was in high school, that's a great question. What made me want to get into acting was I was in high school and my dad got cancer. And I was driving into the hospital pretty much every morning before I would go to school, like 4 days a week. I would drive to Dallas, drive him back home, then drive to school. And then like I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was playing music in my little garage band I made. And then I said, I want to be in jazz band. So I signed up for jazz band in high school. And within 3 days, they kicked me out of jazz band because I didn't read music. I could just play the guitar. And I was like, I am not equipped for this. They put me in theater and I auditioned that week for the first play at my school. And I ended up getting into it and I really liked it. I really, 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 it was called the Christmas Carol radio play. And I played young Scrooge. And it was a play about putting on a radio play. Funnily enough, is that a word? Funnily enough, I don't even know. Funny enough, I make audio plays pretty much every week. Luckily, I get that's like what I ended up doing after 15 plus years of trying my best. And I didn't have enough money for acting school. Um, because of the situation at home. So I like volunteered at my acting class in Weatherford. I would drive an hour and a half one way just to get to acting school, 3 times a week after high school. And I would like help sweep the floors, help put the costumes up, and then I started like teaching kids how to act. And that was amazing. And a few months after that, I ended up getting an agent, and a few years after that, I ended up getting onto Stranger Things, and being in Stranger Things really opened the door for everything else. Uh, you kind of have the snowball effect if you want to keep working, and then they kept casting me as these bad guy roles. I don't know why. I think it was that I have light hair and freckles, and in Hollywood, sometimes you go, oh, red hair and freckles. That you think of like the bully from A Christmas Story, or you think of like, I don't know, Biff from Back to the Future, right? So I was like, hey, I'm not a mean person, but I want to be in a movie that could open the door for me in some other way. And I do have limits to things. I'm not going to get all crazy, but to play like a little bully role in a film, I thought it was a great opportunity to try to make a little extra money and to be into a art form even closer than just, kind of hoping and wishing. And whenever I got the chance to be Tommy H in Stranger Things, it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. I was working at a place called Christina's Mexican Cantina, and we were attached to a gas station in this back road of Texas somewhere. And I was the busboy. And I was working happily 5 days a week, and they called me for this table read, and I had no money to really to fly myself out, and I didn't have the job. But I asked my mom, she helped me get to Atlanta to meet everybody. I found a hotel for like a few days, have a table read. I saw, Millie, all the kids in season 1, Winona, David Harbour, the Duffers, everybody was, I mean, a room full of executives. And they just got to this one line. They were like, Tommy H cackles as they turn around the corner. And I'm like, and everybody in the room was like, whoa. And I knew, I was like, I did something cool. And I like went into the scenes. And then I got home. Still no promise of a job, right? I got back home. My job at Christina's was given to somebody else. And I told them I was going to come back. But they let me keep working there in other aspects. And about 3 weeks later, they called me and told me, you're going to be in Stranger Things. And I went to Ava's house at the time. We were just dating. And I did a Ferris Bueller. I walked to their pool with all of my clothes on. Thankfully, my phone wasn't in my pocket. And I face planted right into the pool, just all my clothes. I couldn't believe it. And I swear to you, the moment I just went up for air, I was in that pool scene in Stranger Things season 1 where we were with Nancy and Steve and Carol and I and Barb when she goes missing for the first time. And it's been such a life-changing opportunity. It's been a beautiful experience. All of it. Every bit, even the hard times.
Yeah, man, I can imagine because like I remember, like crazy to think that show's gonna be 10 years old next year, but that's time for you. But I remember
Mhm.
back in 2016 when the show first came out, like no one knew what this was. It's like, okay, what is this? And then like it exploded. Like, you there was that period where you could not go anywhere without running into someone online talking about it. And you wouldn't even know
Mhm.
what the context was. It's like, oh my God, can you believe this happened on like this like Netflix show? And I'm just like, what?
It was a kind of a slow build to that reception. I mean, a lot of people have a hit show and it comes out and it's like, wow, it's a hit show day one. But like, I feel like it was like steadily growing. Like it was small, like you were saying, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere. Like by season two, the word of mouth, people were like, you got to check this show out, and it just sort of it was crazy. I think it was like the number one show in like 190 countries or 170 countries or something like that. And I was just like, really, I couldn't believe people were seeing my. I was like switching through the channels with me and all these different voices, like different languages. And I thought that was so crazy and awesome.
I'm pretty sure you get asked this a lot, but do you ever get recognized whenever you
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every day I go out, it's a pretty cool treat, especially right now. For years, there was kind of this lull. But at the height of it, I would like go down the street. People sometimes would like, they would like get all excited. And I would really take time to thank them and say, hey, let's get a picture. And there was this lull for a while. But now, every day that I go out, somebody recognizes me. I think it's because people are rewatching from season one again. So it's like a new generation that's getting to be introduced to it. And it's kind of crazy because I didn't think, yeah, I look a little different. I mean, I think I look a little better than I did, but like, I don't think I look too much different. But I'm surprised when people are like, "Oh, I know exactly who you are, man." I was in Austin just getting something from a food truck, and the owner was like, "Oh no, Chester, it's on us." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was already taking a picture with their thing. But they're like, "We know who you are. We love your work. I was like, "Oh man." And it was like, wow. It's a humbling experience for me because it's not like I'm not Millie Bobby Brown, obviously. I am or on the level of a like a Joe Keery. Everybody knows Joe. So when it's like, oh, they recognized my work and it stuck with them in some way. Man, that's such an honor. It's so cool. Somebody the other day was like, "You're the voice of Superman." I heard it and it was crazy. I think it was my childhood acting teacher. They were like, "You really are." And I was like, I can't even believe it myself. When Troy Baker announced that he was the Joker in DC High Volume and that I was going to be Superman. He announced it at New York Comic Con, and I saw this video of Troy Baker just announcing this stuff, and I'm like, that is the great. I've always wanted to work with Troy because I love him in The Last of Us. I love him in Indiana Jones in The Great Circle. I love it, and to think that we would be on the same cast one day is just kind of bonkers to me. And I'm really grateful, man. I'm really grateful for everything. I really know that it's just, I try my hardest every day. I'm always in my recording booth mixing and always trying to get my auditions to sound great. And I even like help people now to get their in-home studios to sound good. I mean, this is like a streaming setup, but I have my own little like, recording booth that I do. The HD at-home recordings for animation, and it's really a treat to see people shine in their own like ways.
I love it. I love it whenever someone who, I mean, because we hear a lot of stories of people getting successful on whatever and becoming just jerks. But I love that you're paying it forward. I think that's like we need more of this and right
Thank
now.
you, my friend. I appreciate that, and it's because I think I like you asked me earlier. Why did you start acting? And I was like, my dad had cancer at the time of high school when I first started, and my dad's a Vietnam veteran, and he, was rescuing people. He was like a mechanic, but he's a really tough guy, right? We come from different worlds, and he was weeping at my play, and he said that I see why you're doing this. Thank you. It made me forget about what I was going through for a while, and that's it. If I can, for even 5 minutes, for an hour, or for even a little amount of time, take somebody's mind away from the problems of their life and give them a little bit of enjoyment, give them a little bit of comfort in some way, or make them think how cool, get their imagination going. That's all it's about for me. And if people recognize me from that, man, that's great.
Yeah, because I think it is important to, be grateful that, you're working, obviously. I mean, one of the things I say is like, I'm very thankful whenever I, meet people who I know are really talented and I love seeing them succeed and, watching their careers grow over the years is really, it means a lot because it's like I know that, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes like it takes a while, sometimes it doesn't, and what have you. But I truly think that, especially nowadays when everyone is so polarized and everyone's like screaming at each other constantly, and you look at your feed and you're getting angry all the time, and I'm just like, we need just more people who just are genuinely kind.
The world can use a little bit more light, yeah, for sure. And it starts with each of us, I think, is the beautiful thing. Yeah, I mean, we really have to kind of remember. And it's an interesting thing because with AI, you're like, what is what I'm seeing even real? That's like the first time I've been like, I don't know if that's real. I don't know, because I believed that the rabbits were jumping on this trampoline, and I was like, wow. And they weren't even real. And you know what? Ever since then, I'm like, maybe it's not as important as I thought. So I just kind of put my phone away sometimes because I do get frustrated. It's a lot of information. It's all different types of information, music, memes, politics. You're like, just, I want to find some stillness. That's kind of why I started meditating too, just because I want to try to find some stillness, some grounding in my world.
Yeah, man, I'm at that point where like I'll just like scroll social media for a little bit and then I'll just like quickly turn it off. I'm just like, nope, I'm done.
I feel that. I feel that.
Because it's tough, especially, I think a lot of I know this is gonna sound mean, but I don't care. Like I do think that a lot of people, especially over the past couple of years, have cooked their brains on this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to be, just constantly just this reactionary attitude towards everything, and I mean everything. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
does do we really need to like because most of I mean, because if you follow me on Instagram, like all my stories are just like shit posts. So it's just nonsense. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of cartoon clips. Here's a bunch of like Simpsons clips. And I share that stuff because I'm like, you know what, this is funny and I think we need, we all could use a laugh right about now.
Yeah, I always try to repost like a positive thing or a interesting thing from somebody else or something that just makes me laugh or makes me like go, "Oh man, that's nice. I really like that." And sometimes I think it makes a difference. I like how people can like heart your stories now sometimes, and you can see, oh, like those are like the few people that they connected with it even more. And I'm always surprised on that. I'm gonna start streaming again on Twitch and playing some of the games that I have that are coming out that I'm voicing, which are gonna be cool. So I used to do that a lot during lockdown and before I was on an esports team, even before that happened. And I miss that connection with the audience. I'm working on some new music, and I have some appearance dates next year. Some in April, some in September, and I'll be announcing those on my Instagram in probably a few weeks, or probably at the beginning or the second week of January, which will be cool. I haven't really had music in a long time, but I did go on the road, and I had a band, and I opened for like, this is gonna probably date me, but I like opened for 5 Seconds of Summer back in the day. I even got the chance to open up for Smashing Pumpkins on a side stage, which was amazing. I cried watching Smashing Pumpkins. It was so cool. Um, I also got to open up for Train and The Fray, which was kind of awesome. And their shows were really neat. So, I mean, it's exciting to get into doing something again. And I think it's been too long since I've been out on the road, like connecting with people in real life, you know. So if you're ever out at an event, come in, please. I would love to shake your hand and thank you for having me on your show.
I mean, I'm hoping you do more cons because you're starting to build an impressive resume. You know, I love, I mean,
Thank
I'm
you.
that guy who will like talk your brain off at panels. I'll just do it. I'll like, I don't care. Like if I see that there's like nobody at the line, I'm just like, okay, I can just like talk for 30 minutes about whatever. It's great.
That actually is cool because sometimes, you're up there giving a panel and you're like, well, it's not that no other people don't really have a lot of questions, but maybe they don't have, maybe they're like uncomfortable going up and asking, and you're asking questions that a lot of people are wondering, You're probably a great moderator. I mean, obviously. Yeah,
I'm
that's cool.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you ever want to like get me to host one of the panels, I'll do it. It'll be awkward as fuck, but I'll do it. I don't
You
care.
hear that, Comic Cons everywhere? We're game. We're game.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, I love talking to people. It's one of the reasons why I love doing the show. Like to me, the best episodes I do are the ones where I feel like I'm having a conversation with the person and not just like, so you did this thing. Can you tell me more about this thing? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to know the person behind the character and like what makes them tick, I guess.
I think that's a really, really cool way to approach it. For example, whenever I started doing the Mighty Monster Wheelies, which is an ongoing show, um, and I play Rap Stretcher, I was like, wow, I'm really honored to get to do this. And I was doing it all from home. And uh, I just remember because one time I was in Palm Springs with Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, and we were appearing together at the Palm Springs Comic Con, and uh, I asked him, I was like, "Hey Tom," I was like, "How do you keep being SpongeBob? Like, how do you keep doing it? It's magic. Like, how do you do it?" And I think their response was something like, "SpongeBob is like the best parts of me. Like whenever I step into SpongeBob's voice or character, I try to like break free of all this negativity and just put my love and my heart and everything I can into it." And that's the approach I took whenever I started voicing Rap Stretcher. And it's kind of now the approach that I do every single character that I do. Uh because it's why not? Why not put your whole heart into it? Why not just use it as just fun? We did the work of studying for years and years. We're still learning. But if you forget to have fun during the audition process, if you get to forget to have fun during the creation process, you're missing out. I think it always turns out better if somebody has fun doing it, especially like your podcast, right? Like if we're having a conversation and having a good time, I think that's all listeners really, care about too. It's like, thank you so much for listening, everybody who's out there listening. Thank you.
No, I mean, and speaking of like Mighty Monster Wheelers, I mean, I did interview Matt Lowe, who does the voice of
Yeah.
the Wolfman, I think his
Hmm.
name is, and he's a funny guy, very very talented guy, and it was interesting because like with the as you know they're preschool shows, and with
Yeah,
preschool shows there are a lot more restrictions than normal shows because it's like
there are.
okay because it's like okay, you can't sound too negative, you can't like sound like you're talking down to the audience, you got to make sure that everyone
Correct.
understands you and what have you. So I'm kind of wondering, was that a challenge for you?
Sometimes it was when I improved things because I was still learning. It was my first time with the preschool show, but I was surprised. One of the things that surprised me was they were like, "Okay, you're saving somebody who's falling off of a cliff, and you reach out, and I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm here." And the producer was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we cannot tell children how to feel. You cannot tell somebody don't worry. That's a rule." And I was like, I won't forget that. I was like, I'll always remember. So I used a different line. I was like, I'm here. It'll be okay, or whatever it was. But I was like, wow, they really think about it on a deep, 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 deep level. And I was interviewing one of my friends, um, Emily Brundage. They were in a show in a show called Over the Garden Wall. And in Over the Garden Wall, their character, they were like, oh, we have to go drink. Oh, yeah, we're going to go hang out at the graveyard and drink age appropriate drinks. They're like, what? They're like, yeah, we have to drink age appropriate drinks. It's in the show. And it was because the people who were making it, they were like, you have to say it's an age appropriate drink. And so they literally were like, oh, it's an age appropriate drink. And I always think about that. I'm like, nobody really caught that, but it was because of the regulations that you have to kind of abide by, which I'm grateful for because at the end of the day, they're kind of helping this new generation or even kids of all ages watch it. I enjoy the Mighty Monster Wheelies. Because I'm a little biased, but because I'm in it. But I think it's a really nice thing to watch a show that I know that's not gonna like make me freaked out. I don't know. I like Pokemon Concierge, which is a great show, or some of the My Melody movie. I loved I love things like that. Sometimes I don't want to, it's okay. Sometimes I'll watch like the British Bake Off because I know that that's not gonna in the middle of it show me something insane that's gonna make me freaking have a crazy dream. So I think for some reasons those are great. I think it's great, but it was interesting to work around.
Yeah, because whenever I talk to people who work on preschool shows, that it's either like, they have a hard time with it, or they're just like they get really irritated, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I had a great time. I had a really great time because, like I said, for me, it was just like I was getting to do a show that was super funny and I got to do it from home. So it was like really nice. I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. And I've been working on writing a children's book or like creating something nice, and I just finished my first draft of my book, which is kind of cool. I know I have like 100 drafts more. But, you know, I think that it's super special to make something with your heart for the new generation to kind of be filled with hope by. I don't know. That was my goal. My goal is somebody asked me this once and they're like, what is it that you want to do? And I said, simply put, my goal is to make this with my work. My goal is to make this world one where kids want to keep living. That's it. I want to make it a world where people want to be in, the one that they want to be in with my work, whether it's a silly thing or a scary thing or whatever it is. I want it to be a slightly better place than where it was whenever I got here. When I go,
And I think that's a great mindset to have, because with the state of the world nowadays and with AI and all this other nonsense, I do worry about like where we're headed as a society, and where I don't want to say content because I hate that word, like where the arts are headed, because like I have a niece and nephew, and they're stuck to their phones, which is unfortunate, but that's like that's just like that's how it is. And and because they have the volume up on really loud, and you can tell what it is.
oh
You can
yeah,
tell it's one of those like really questionable YouTube videos that's obviously AI generated, and I'm just like, this is like
oh yeah.
it's that just that breaks my heart.
The AI voices. I'm like, oh no, please don't take my job. No, it is a crazy thing to worry about, but hopefully humans will keep fighting for humans to make it beyond the that. I mean, it is a I think we're a few years away from it becoming a real insane concern for voice actors, but I am already kind of concerned. I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't. I mean, that's why I try to do as many voices and do as many things as I can because I think that once we do regulate or they do allow certain things like that to happen, like I saw this AI dub of an Amazon anime that they did, and the internet like this last few weeks they took it down, but I think it was on Amazon, but people were so they were like just really angry, and and it was really bad. It was like really bad AI, and as long as people have that reaction of like we want, even if you use unknown talent, give humans a chance to keep making art, like please. I think that's really what it comes down to. So
Yeah, and I said this before, like even when a person gets recast and they get replaced for whatever reason, at the
yeah,
end of the day, if they get replaced by another actor, I'm fine with it. But
yeah,
if you're gonna replace them with AI, then I was like, oh no, man, I don't like this. And like
exactly.
and like you said, like it's interesting looking back at that debacle because the internet is pretty divided. But seeing everybody like collectively put aside their differences and just to dunk on this thing and be like, no, this is objectively awful, and we don't want this was great because like, hey, it restored my faith in humanity a little bit.
For sure. That's always a good thing to have your restored faith in humanity. Yeah, it's a insane sort of new way we have to kind of look after each other. But I think hopefully we'll keep looking after each other on a whole. And I think there's a lot of people in the world that want good things to happen. The crazy loud negative things, they're always like blah 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 in your face. But hope whispers quietly and in the hearts of the ones who want to see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What do I know? I'm an actor.
no, no, it's difficult, like especially after, because this year has been difficult for everybody. Let's not sugarcoat this. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat this and say, oh no, this year has been great. It hasn't, and I do have that fear of like what's to come because like it's interesting because like I was listening to a lot of podcasts recapping all the crazy shit that happened this year, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy all that happened this year, and then that existential dread like starts creeping in, and it's like, but what about the next couple of years? And it's just like, I don't
That's
know.
why I find it more important for me to try to stay grounded than ever. I mean, like try to stay in the moment and be present in my moment. It's just like it's a hard thing. It's like a meditative experience, but you have to kind of do it or else. Too far into the future, you have anxiety. Too far in the past, you have a regret. But if you live in the moment right now, you're free. I think I heard that somewhere. So I try my best. I don't have all the answers to anything, but for me, I find it important to just be like, okay, let's just try our best to get through the day that we are having today.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you because, like, I mean, I'm not gonna mention this on air because it's personal and I don't like talking about my personal life. But
You don't have to mention anything that
yeah,
makes you
yeah,
feel uncomfortable, of
yeah.
course.
But this year has been like tough for me. For because of personal reasons, and like a lot of times I even struggled to be like, I want to like it's hard to stay creatively motivated when you feel like everything's on fire, basically is what I'm trying to say. But
Oh,
throughout
100%.
throughout thick and thin, I look up and not look up, like I still want to do the podcast. I still like strive to reach out to as many people as I can to see who responds, see who doesn't respond, and I want to keep this going for as long as I'm alive because I love having conversations with people and I love like talking about the arts and just creating that human connection that's sorely lacking in this day and age.
Well, I
Because
appreciate you for reaching out and having me be a part of your amazing show. It's been
yeah,
an awesome time getting to meet you.
and I mean, and sure, like we can talk about like what your career and what have you. But like I said, I love forming human connections, and it didn't like occur to me like how impactful my what I was doing was until recently, where I went to a con in the UK and I met Ian Cardoni, who's the voice of a good friend of mine. He's the voice of Rick on Rick and Morty, and
Yeah,
he said like how's the podcast going? I still listen to it whenever I can, and I'm like, that means a lot to me because like it's one of those things where it's like, no, what I do matters. Like what I do, like, because it's easy
it
to just
does.
because it's easy to look at the numbers and the algorithms and all this other stuff and get upset about that stuff. But like
Yeah.
just hearing someone say, someone who I've had on the show before, just say like, they still keep up with it, that, that there's that, genuine human connection that's not just, it wasn't just a one and done type thing. And I think that,
That's great.
that gets to me. That's like I'm a big softie at heart, basically, is what I'm trying to
I
say.
mean, we all want to feel that connection, that love, and that sounds like such a great dude. That sounds like such a great experience. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just like sometimes you need that. Sometimes because like, you get burnt out, and a lot of times I've
Yeah.
thought about like, am I what am is what I'm doing mattering? Does it matter? Does anyone care?
Hmm.
But having those types of moments, and just like even when I have someone on who's like, oh, I listened to your episode so and so and it was really good, and I'm like, thanks, that means a lot. I mean, you didn't have to do that, but I'm glad that you took the time to listen and get a better understanding of what I'm trying to do here, instead of just like forcing me into a little box and trying to like make me do like the whole like standard interview thing. I'm just like, 'cause I don't like, I don't like doing that,
Absolutely. You have style. You have a style, it's awesome. It's that's how you're keeping your art alive, And I one thing that I had to tell myself is don't tie your worth to the numbers you get on social media if you can. Because even if you're impacting one person, their person may be silent. It may be somebody that's listening to all of them. You never know. And even if that one person at first is you, then care. And that's okay because eventually somebody will find it. Somebody will find something that you're doing and connect with it. I I know that it's tough to be like, "Oh, the video didn't get a million views or whatever." But I knew a guy that they would post 2 videos a day. Normally they'd get, 2 million views per video, and when they got under a million, they would lose their mind. They would freak out. They would, "My life is just ruined," and I'm like, "You still did a million views? You're freaking out that it's not as good?" It's like, "Dude, just keep going." So it can get to that level, right? Like, when is it gonna be enough, right? And if it's making a difference to somebody, then that's what matters, I think.
And because we all, at the end of the day, we all want to leave our mark on this world, whether it be, and we all want to leave our mark on this world because life is short. And believe me when I say this, life is short. I truly mean that. It's not like a figure of expression. Life truly is short, and I do think that if there was one big takeaway from this year for me, was like, it's important to build human connections with the folks you want to be around, because
Yeah,
you don't know how long they're going to be around for. And you will, oh,
yeah,
and let me tell you, like, what if someone like ends up, passing away, and you did not like reach out to them when you had the chance, you will regret that. Trust me.
Yeah, it does. It does make you feel a certain type of way. And yeah, appreciating every heart that you can is always a nice touch. Uh, I like I lost my grandma a few years ago, and she raised me up and my family, which was a big like matriarch in our family, which I think that's the wrong. I don't know if that's the right word or wrong word. She was pretty much everybody loved her. She lived with all of us and raised all the kids and everything. And some days I'm like, you know, loss is. Somebody asked me once at a panel I was doing. They're like, "What do you do with grief?" And I told them, I think that grief is just love with nowhere to go. It's this feeling of you have all this love in you and you don't know where to put it. So try to give a little to yourself and remember that the things that you create, if you create it with love, things out there will notice. The universe itself will thank you for it and you'll have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I also wanted to talk about because I'm just remembered like, oh yeah, Cookie Run. That was another thing that I wanted to talk about. Then before we got like
Yeah.
philosophical, all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I really wanted to talk about Cookie Run because your character. I specifically remember your character because I looked at it and I'm like, man, this is like this character is weird looking even for this game because it's like someone wanted to fuck this character. Like how sexy he is. Like someone really
Did you
wanted to
say he's a
fuck him.
sexy cookie? I don't know. I thought he was great. I think don't eat mercurial night. He's made of mercury. No, I think he was such a cool character to sort of like get the chance to be. And I didn't see the art until it came out, but I was like, wow, I think they're really cool. I like their silver weapon and their neat hair.
Hard to believe that game's gonna be 5 years old next year. That's like God.
I mean, yeah, Cookie Run, call me. I'll give me. I'll do another voice. Let me know.
And another thing I wanted to talk about was Loud House.
Oh yeah,
That was a fun one. Even like I mean, okay, in the grand scheme of things, you did not do much, but it's such a fun role because it's just like, okay, this is gonna sound really really weird, but what I like about the writing,
yeah,
because you're playing a male character and he's like pretending to be a woman, and they
yeah.
could like they could have easily gone that route where it became uncomfortable. But what I like is when he's revealed to be an imposter, they're not angry that he's pretending to be a woman. They're angry that they spent time with someone that they didn't
They
know.
thought it was their grandma. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they called me. And they told me they were like for the audition. They were like on the breakdown. I said we are looking for somebody with the best, worst Jennifer Coolidge impersonation. So I was like, "Oh my god! Oh, I'm taking the dog." And I was like, "Wow!" I went in and I did the audition. I sent it in, and I was like, "Oh, this is really really cool." So I didn't feel uncomfortable when I was doing it, and I think that getting to like celebrate all perspectives is quite cool. I know for me that the character spoke to me in a really nice way. And I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really funny that, this guy who was like trying to, I don't know, make an extra buck ended up becoming the grandma of the family and then through that finding more about themselves. I think I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny and fun and sweet. And when they kick him out of the car, they're just like done with them. They're like, "Oh, thank you so much." And he just flies out out the window. I was really excited because I thought I was going to end up working with Jennifer Coolidge, because they were the voice of Myrtle forever, and then when I got the role, it ended up being someone else who I really really admire, and I really was fortunate that I got to work with them as well.
Yeah, I was voiced by Alex Kazaris. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I gonna be interviewing her, so I should know this. Well, I did interview her, but like there were technical issues and we had to like reschedule. But I should be interviewing her again this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. But no, she's lovely. She's great, and I think she did a great job. And originally she was just brought in to just do scratch for that. But then they said like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, Jennifer Coolidge is too busy with White Lotus, and we can't get her in to record. And it's like, you're Myrtle now, and I was like, okay, cool.
What a good way. I mean, sorry, Jennifer. I was really looking forward to working with you, but I'm so grateful that things happen like that sometimes because I mean, it's unfortunate, but like the show must go on and it gives other people a chance to shine too, and it's really nice. I really am glad that we got to make such a fun film, and it's like a spy movie. It's funny, And I also like the acting is pretty grounded too, no matter how. And that was like an intense thing because I just felt like with the character at Nickelodeon, it was the first time that like when I was doing something like I just felt like I was doing something wrong. I don't know, like with my acting, I felt kind of like I was just like, is this right? I was questioning everything. I was like, is my acting any good? In my head, I was just like, I don't know. But I watched it and I was like, I really like everything I did. I thought it was great. I also played like four of the thug bodyguards that she beats up in the ones that are working, like the henchmen. They like are working in the lab. Uh, so I get to play. I'm all throughout that movie, which is great. Um, yeah, it was also like a few voices in Creature Commando with James Gunn, their new animated series. I got to work opposite. It's just some really, really incredible people. Oh my gosh! I even did a voice whistle match for Doctor Phosphorus. I was his whistle in the show, which was kind of cool. And then I was also one of the henchmen that I was into playing these henchmen. Man, I tell you, I was the one that like threw him in the tank that turned him into Doctor Phosphorus. So it's a crazy episode, and then he lights me on fire, which I'm not gonna fully tell you how, but it was an insane thing. The people, yeah. So getting to be working on a show that was like the other day, the director of DC High Volume sent me a picture with James Gunn, and they were like, "We were talking about you voicing Superman, and he was really familiar with your work on the show." And I was like, "What? What did they say? Did they like it?" They're like, "Yeah, they liked it." I was like, "Good. Hopefully we keep going." They're like, "Yeah, me too." Because you never know. You never know what you're gonna get to the chance to make, what they're gonna approve. Even if a show does well, you never know if it's gonna keep going. So, but I'm grateful that for all the work I've gotten so far, and I'm so grateful for the time you've given me today, Abdullah.
And before I let you go, we gotta like we've been alluding to it this entire time, and but we can't just like leave you without talking about Superman. Come on, man. Like, come
Oh,
on.
that's cool.
We've been alluding to it, and now that you're mentioning it, that's a perfect segue into like Superman. And I've interviewed like maybe one or two Superman actors, and they're always different
Yeah.
takes. And I'm kind
Mhm.
of wondering, like, when you got the role, did you go back and listen to a specific version or did you just base him on your own take?
Well, I started reading. So whenever I got the voice of Soups, for sure they were like, "Oh, we're hiring you. You're going to be voicing Clark." I went and reread All Star Superman. I started reading the comic books, and then I would watch the series with Tim Daly, the animated series, and I liked how he went into this sort of. It was like he just sat in this world, and it's been a process to find the voice and keep it going. Um, but I really feel like the heart of Superman, the heart of Clark, is what was important for me to find. Why was I doing these things? Why is Clark trying to save people? And it becomes the reason is because he can. He chooses to be a good person. He feels the world around them and knows how fragile of a place it is. And when somebody he loves or somebody he doesn't know loses their life, it just devastates him. Right. So I wanted to like go in knowing all these different sides. And in Nightwing Year One, episode two, the one that just dropped, now the third one's out actually. But you see uh, Clark and Robin talking about, oh, Batman just fired him. He is on his own. And Superman takes him to the Fortress of Solitude and shows him this hero of his homeworld, Nightwing. And Robin gets the idea of going out on their own and then adopts, the persona of Nightwing. So it was awesome to. It was hard hitting to like start with the most, like the biggest scene I could have ever done first, and then it's been a pleasure to be able to voice Soups. It's a real cool thing, and even Troy Baker wrote me a congratulation message on my DM on Instagram, and I was like, wow, I almost hyperventilated because I love that guy. I think such a talent.
And
Yeah.
that's amazing getting like big props from like someone who voiced like the Joker and Batman. That's crazy.
He is such a wonderful person, and the whole cast is really great. Even the voice of Lois Lane, she did absolutely fantastic. And to be able to be a part of this world, to be able to voice Superman, my favorite hero of all time, uh, it's just a dream come true. I never would have thought about it. I think I cried, man. I tell you, they called me, and I just kind of got on my knees. It was just so thankful. I cried because I mean, it's not every day you get the call that you're going to be the voice of Superman. Come on, it just blew my mind. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything.
I mean, you get to join like the a pantheon of like so many
Yeah,
amazing actors who played him over the years, like Tim Daly,
yeah,
George Newbern, and most
yeah.
recently Jack Quaid. It's like, oh, oh man.
It's a small amount of us, but we're the League of Supermen, which is kind of cool. It's like it's almost 100 years old this show, and it's kind of neat to be on DC High Volume where it's kind of back to where we started with Superman, those audio dramas, those radio plays that they did. And it's kind of neat to be able to say, I truly believe in truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. A better tomorrow, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, like, we, I don't know, like, I mean, hopefully, I'm at that point where I'm just like, because I grew up with Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and all those
Oh
other
yeah,
shows.
fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm friends with Brainiac. That's crazy. What is my life?
It's
But
a beautiful ride.
yeah, but I grew up with those shows, and I'm kind of hoping that, we get more animated DC stuff. It's been like
Yes.
I'm just like, please give me more animated stuff, especially with my adventures with Superman. I'm just like, when is season 3 coming out? I've been waiting
Oh,
on
it's
that
so
forever.
good. It's so good. That's such a great show. It's such an amazing. I mean, seriously, I agree. I love the DC animated universe. It's just so great. Yeah.
And so hopefully, like, basically, this is like a long-winded way of me saying, like, I hope you get cast in one of these shows because I would love to see
Oh yeah.
you play different characters. You know,
Thank you, man. Me too. It would be such an honor. Yeah, even if it wasn't Soups and it was some other person, or a different hero, or they don't even have to have powers. Just being involved. That's what it's about. It's exciting.
Yeah, and before I wrap this up, because I don't want to keep you on longer than I should. I would love to talk to you for 3 hours, but I know that you don't have the time for that. And
Oh, no
but
worries.
yeah, but before I wrap this up, can you give us an update on what you're currently working on, and where can people find you online?
All right, you can check me out on all social media platforms at Chester Rushing, ChesterRushing. I'm currently working on some new music. Check out the new season of Mighty Monster Wheelies now on Netflix. DC High Volume. You can check out on DC's official YouTube page or already where you get your podcasts. Nightwing Gear One to hear me as the voice of Superman. Um, and I have a few things that I'm working on that I can't really talk about yet, but stay tuned. Make sure you uh, come and check us out on Instagram and keep listening to Abdullah. Their show's amazing. And this is the current thing I'm working on this podcast interview right now.
Also, if you're disappointed that we didn't talk about a project that just got announced, this was recorded before that project was announced.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time off to do this. I had fun talking to you, and if you ever want to come back, you know where to find me.
Hey, thank you so much. I look forward to speaking with you again whenever some of this new stuff drops. We'll make it happen again, okay?
Okay.
If you're up for it.
Oh man, I returning guest, man. I love it. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
All
Hey,
right.
happy holidays, and I hope you have a great day.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.